What's happening, kiddo? Hey, man. I don't know that I've actually covered this with you in the past. It's like 110 here in damn Texas right now. It's like, so I don't know that I've actually covered this with you in the past or not. Get rid of that. Meeting agenda's all crazy. There's four really comprehensions of a person. These are general, that I just typically follow to kind of sum a person up and to sum myself up, in a lot of ways. So, in the way, for sure. So, there's two internal and there's two external. The two internal comprehension, which is just an understanding and usage, right? If you comprehend something, then you don't need to explain it in complexity and long-winded detail, covering up the main point. Just get to the point, right? Different than just talking a lot like I do. Jeez, son. So there's two internal and two external, man. The two internal are learning agility. Well, the first one I always put them in a row, and the first one is self-awareness. Am I aware of myself? Am I aware of my responses? Am I aware of my prejudice? The things that I see that are skewed, like I've been cheated on in the past. So I'm naturally gonna note irregular changes in a dating relationship as a threat, right? So like I'm aware of that, and I got to deploy, like, okay, let's look at more data here, because it's an automated response because I've been hurt by it in the past. So self-awareness is a really key aspect of a human being and the development and evolution of each person. So I'm always trying to improve my self-awareness, and I do that through working with other people, through vulnerability with close people that I've chosen based on their virtues and values. I find them to be above board, so then I put myself in a vulnerable position with them to get feedback. And then so that wraps up self-awareness. That's just a quick and dirty, like, self-awareness discussion. And then the second internal is learning agility. How agile am I and fluid am I when it comes to assessing data to be my teacher, right? So not just the person, but also the information. Is it accurate? I can't just go off of feelings, right? Like, you got all these activists right now, they're all fucking up in arms about everything. All these things matter. It's like, it's such a manipulation. It's such an emotional manipulation. It's like, even these things, like, I'm a Christian, I love God, and I'll always find myself seeking God out. Like, I'm gonna go back to God for answers every time. He's the one who saved me. He's the one he's everything, right? So, but I'll see these ads on Facebook, where they're like, oh, God is the way, the truth, and the light. If you agree, say amen. Many will show up, but many won't even share. Like, that's a fucking go fuck yourself. Like, I get so angry with that. Like, you're using me. That has nothing to do with God. You're using me to get more shares for you. You're using God to get more shares for you. That's not like, that's just one example of, like, different manipulations. So I don't want to be susceptible to that. So I need to understand data. Like, what are the facts around this? And what are the facts on the other side? Because understanding both sides of things is super important, dude. I don't want to just be a religious zealot. Like, I used to live a crazy life, and then I found God, and I know both sides, dude. Like, I'm good where I'm at now. Pumped. Fact. Running off track here, but learning agility is my ability to move with change, my ability to accept change, and my ability to change my behaviors. So I take the data that makes it safe for me to get comfortable and cozy up next to change, because that's a scary thing. I change my perspective, which means things fall together, they don't fall apart. And that helps me with my learning agility to take the moment, to live in the moment, and to understand all the components, and then to move accordingly, which means I'm just getting cozy with change, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay, so that's the two internals, just quick and dirty, and then I'll do the other two, which is the third, the first external, which is the third point, is communication. Like, is my vocabulary well-rounded? Do I use the same exact words to describe a ton of different items? That's not always effective, because people, the English language is important, and all these words are needed. So, learn them and expand your horizons by expanding your vocabulary. So, like, communication is really important, because I can describe things in a much more detailed fashion, and I can become more clear by using the right definition, the right words that define what I'm talking about and what I'm describing more accurately. Because what you'll notice in life is when you say certain words, like work, that means a million different definitions to each person. Like that, like each person is going to have a different definition to that word work, right? So I need to describe that word work in through like accomplishments or results driven outcomes management. Like that drives the level of work, because people say work, I just show up and then I get paid for being there. That's not working. Okay, so communication is really important. And then also checking my tonnage. Am I pressured? Is my face, like my body language, is my body tight? That's a communication too, man. When I don't speak, that's communicating for sure. And when I get all low and serious about what I'm about to say, that's a strong communication. It's different from when I'm light and happy and just want to chat about something really important to me. These styles of communication are really important. What are your eyes saying too? Are your eyes darting around? Are they squinted? People need all these little indicators to understand what you're really saying. So communication is important. Yeah. And then just wrapping up on the fourth point, which is influence. It just escaped me for a second. Like how well you communicate a lot of times will govern your influence. Sometimes it's your looks, like good looking people who take care of their body, keep it in shape, people that are tall, and people that are pretty, right? So like those are just facts. Like I don't care how people feel about it. This is so like, I don't care what people like. The facts are the facts, dude. It ain't my opinion. It's the data, dude. Look at the marketing data. People follow pretty people. Like that's the facts. I didn't tell everybody you have to do that. Like that's a natural inclination. Then just go with it. People that take care of their bodies, super attractive to everyone. That's not a marketing ploy. It's a goal. Everybody idolizes that, so they want it. They don't want to do the work for it. They just want to sit around and whine and cry, like, why don't you start putting fat people on magazines? Because I want to feel better about myself, like, fuck off, dude. Do more work, work harder. earn that shit, dude. You know, and then they wonder why they're not satisfied. Satisfaction will never, I'm on a rant right now. I'll just wrap that up. Satisfaction will never come unless you do the work to achieve the goal you want. It's a fact. Does that apply to 100% of people out there? No. But the majority? Hell yes. And that's all I need to worry about right now. Because if they're the minority, they fucking see it and they know it. Move on. But most of them aren't. So, you know, they just don't like hearing the truth. Same here. I don't like it either. Anyways, influence is governed by my ability to work with people, to be an inspiration, to the way I communicate, the self-awareness that I have, and the learning agility that I deploy. These things in synergy, when they're moving and grooving together and using energy off of each other, man, that person is just, you know, the style of Tony Robbins. They're just well-rounded individuals that people back, people get behind. They love, you know, because it's the embodiment of the full workload each person has to undergo. So the point being is, let's stay focused on our own core competencies, only referring to others as examples and case studies of what to or not to do. That's it. That's the peaceful life, man. Because you end up, all I do is work on myself. I'm not judgmental and caught up about hating other people, resenting other people. I just take notes of, like, I don't want those results, dude. Like, I don't want to live that grumpy fucking life. That just sucks. It just looks so bitter to be that person. Yeah, they sit around and they may have this moral justification and this righteous indignation, but they look fucking miserable. What are they right about? You know, defending their position so they don't have to change to some comfort that they're used to? Fuck that, dude. Kill that comfort. Let's run. I'm not trying to live that way. And I'm not trying to hate on anybody for that either. I just, you know, there's only one way to break chains, and that's the first is you got to know you're chained up. And if nobody says this stuff out loud, but, you know, like, then we just stay chained. We don't know it. You know, they train elephants. You know, they stake these massive chains, you know, down to these, you know, big stakes in the ground, or trees, and the elephants can't break free from around their ankle, you know, and they train them that way, so from babies, and then when they get older, all they have to do is put a rope around that damn ankle, and the huge elephant, who's massive and can snap the rope in like a split, you know, in no time, you know, is then trained that once they feel that tightness around their ankle, that they just know in their heads that they can't break it and they can't get free, so they stay wherever it is. That's fucking baffling to me, man, because it's like we are the same way. And so, you know, what I've invested in and would love for you to invest in is just uncovering where those habits have formed, discovering what they're blocking you from achieving and being capable of doing, and then discarding those old thought processes and really starting to get back to exploring. You know, we're explorers, man, and we should be exploring our outermost capabilities of our mental, physical, and emotional, you know, lives. They're all separate lives, man, that need care and attention. And we should be exploring, not stuck and caged in or tied down to a specific location inside ourselves. That's not okay, man. That's suffering. You know, the point that everything falls together is important. And there's a lot of people that feel that everything falls apart. And that's because they're grasping on to like these old ideas. They're unwilling to be agile in their learning. You know, they're still grasping on to fantasies and or things that are dead. And that's a painful way to go. But you know, when things are fun. But here's a point, and this is why everybody's right, is because the feeling of falling sucks. Whether you see it falling together or you see it falling apart, that's important for like your mental and emotional status. But the feeling of falling sucks. You gotta like, that's something everybody has to train themselves to like start to find a way to cope with, and eventually even at times when really exceeding, enjoy. Anyways, dude, I'm rambling. I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. I love you. Can't wait to see you. And be good for your mom, dude. Wherever, whenever you are, call your mom. Call your mom, son. Check in with your mom. I'm sure she misses you wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And then call me. Because I know I miss you and I love you. I can't wait to hear from you. No matter whenever, wherever you are. All right? I love you, kiddo.